Sean Salisbury here for Open Sports. A couple other things on my mind in football. Start with Turner Gill. I believe that Auburn, just my gut feeling, and I know Charles Barkley has stated this, and I've been saying all year long in blogs and videos that I think we have a race problem in hiring African-American head coaches in college football, and I think it's pathetic. And I've long since, it's ridiculous that this many teams with this lack of consideration for head coaching candidates and for the hiring practices, it's a joke. And NCAA football, college football needs to fix this. With Turner Gill, though, I got to give him a lot of credit because while I think that if race had something to do with it, while I think that being black had something to do with it and shouldn't have, I think it's pathetic, like I said. Turner Gill's qualified. Gene Chizik, you can't blame him. He went in and interviewed, did his job, got the job. Okay, more power to him, especially for a guy who was well under 500 at Iowa State. Good track record as a defensive coach and coordinator at the University of Texas. But a guy like Turner Gill deserves a head coaching job and re-sign an extension with Buffalo, and congratulations to him. But the biggest thing here is we got guys like us making our opinion on how we feel. We weren't in the meeting room, we weren't there, but Turner Gill takes the high road, as he has and been classy his whole career. When he's been qualified for a while to be a head coach and say, you know what, Auburn gave me a good chance, but it wasn't a good fit. Now that's a man who understands it. But leave it to us, the analysts and those people who are opinionated and fired up, to say that we think something wrong with it. But how about Turner Gill taking the high road and saying he was given a chance, but it wasn't a fit? Give him a lot of credit, but I'll say it for him, as Charles did, and I'm sure a lot of other people are. Our hiring practices are terrible for African-American head football coaches in college football. It's got to be fixed. Got to get the right guys. Now, Gene Chizik may end up being the right guy for Auburn. That's not the point. The point is that we've got to find a way to give them more opportunities, African-American head coaches and minority prospects, to be head coaches. And I think it needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed fast. That's the biggest problem college football has right now. BCS, you may call that a problem. It has no comparison to what I think is a black and white issue in certain areas in college football. And Turner Gill will get another head coaching job somewhere big at some point. But what he's done with Buffalo, we ought to be proud, and we all ought to stand up and cheer Turner Gill for the way he handles a situation like this, and let the rest of us speak up and tell college football and their practices of hiring and why they make these decisions or why they're wrong. And college football, for the most part, gets a lot of things right, but in this situation, they're not getting it right. Another thing on my mind is the Pro Bowl. I'm switching over to a less important issue. Trust me, the Pro Bowl is not as important as a race issue in college football. But what it is that there's always snubs. And the question is, when you have snubs, who are you going to take off the list? To me, John Abraham in the NFC, huge, could have been on there. Add another spot. It's the Pro Bowl. That's my biggest complaint. Add more spots. You know what? A lot of these guys don't want to play in it anyway. They go there, play a few series, get out. Add 3 or 4 more players so a guy like John Abraham doesn't miss out. And in the AFC, Phillip Rivers got jobs big time. Now, who are you going to take off that list? No, you're not going to take Peyton off, and you're not going to take Brett off. I mean, there's quarterbacks who had a tremendous season. But Phillip Rivers, without him, the Chargers may only win 2 or 3 games. I mean, he's been single-handedly, offensively carrying them and had a spectacular season. Phillip Rivers should be in the Pro Bowl. Add another spot. 4 quarterbacks. Who cares if there's 4 quarterbacks? Add five like coaches guys or fans guys, 5 of them. So you know what, an extra defensive end or an extra tight end or what? Who cares? Put them on there. It's the Pro Bowl. It's not like the Major League Baseball All-Star Game where the winner gets home field advantage throughout the World Series. So, no, hire them. So those guys got jobs, and there's other guys who could have made it numbers-wise that didn't get in. And there's guys like Thomas Jones who you got to give great credit to for performing. And my man John Carney, who gets in as a 44-year-old kicker. I've known John. Heck, I was holding for John Carney in San Diego, and he's still playing. And I've been out of the league 13 years. So congratulations to a guy like John Carney. It's been spectacular just to know that no matter what point in your career, you keep playing and keep doing the right thing, great things can happen. So while there's snubs, guys missed out, my whole thing is add more people to the list. And unfortunately, some players don't take voting seriously, and it hurts other players. That being said, you know what? I'm sure John Abraham's proud of his season, as is Phillip Rivers. Chargers winning could have helped the cause, but without Phillip Rivers, they wouldn't have been anywhere. So there's a lot of this going on, but it's a Pro Bowl. It's supposed to be a fun game. And you know what? A lot of times people will use this as motivation to drive them the next year or their team to drive it the next year. But congratulations to those who made it, and to those who didn't, tee it up in 2009. I'm Sean Salisbury for Open Sports.
So you think you can tackle a pro? There's only one way to find out. Click on fantasy at opensports.com.